How's it going, everyone? Gringo here, and welcome back to our EZA marathon and our hunt for the LR Intelligence Vegeta. Now today we are going to be taking a look at the Android Cell Saga EZA, but first, again, let's go over kind of the characters, where to get them, and how to get started. So first off, in the background here, you're going to go to the Emerge Mysterious Monster Cell story event. Scroll down a little bit like usual, and in stage 5 here, that is going to be the stage 1 character in the Android Cell Saga EZA, the Vegeta. For our second character, you're going to come over to the Ultimate Confrontation Cell Games and scroll down, and the stage 1 character is going to be the stage 2 character in the Android Cell Saga EZA, and that is going to be the Goku. Switching over to new enemies, androids in action, you're going to be looking for your stage 3 character, which can be found in stage 2 in this event, and that is going to be the Yardrat Goku right there. And our stage 4 character is going to be obtained in a different way. You are going to come over to the treasure tab in the Baba shop, go to the Incredible Gems tab, and then scroll down a bunch until you find Beloved Girl Fighter Android number 18. So this is going to be your stage 4 character for the Android Cell Saga EZA event. And with that done, let's switch over to the stages and get right into them. Alright, switching over to the stages, we are going to start from stage 1. As you can see, I have done stages 1 and 2 before, but I have not done 3 and 4. So I do believe that I finished the Goku and Vegeta characters. I just didn't finish the stage 3 and 4 for some reason. So as you can see, there's not a lot of characters to choose from, and out of those characters I have obtained even less of them, so I only have an option of 7. Our Vegeta is going to be stage 1, Goku stage 2, Yardrat Goku stage 3, and Android 18 will be stage 4. So that is going to be strength, technique, intelligence, and then another strength. And let's get into stage 1 and pick a team here. So out of the team that I only have an option of 7 characters. I'm going to try to go as free to play with these as possible that I have. But again, I've only got 7 characters. 4 of them are the ones we've already went over that you can obtain for the event. And there's also not a lot of great options for leader type characters in this event, but I went with the Vegeta in the background that you can get for free to play because he buffs up the Vegeta family category characters, which I have 3 options of. I only brought 2 for now though. And he also can buff the Android 18 character with his secondary leadership of buffing strength characters. The next closest option I had was the Goku that is free to play from stage 2, where he kind of does the same thing. You see him in the background. He has the Goku family buff as well as the technique buff, but since I don't have any other technique characters, that's not as beneficial to me as the Vegeta one. Now, with the options that I had from characters and the team that I chose, there's not really a lot of good synergy between a lot of them. The cell doesn't really link well with anybody, and since I have to bring the friend cell as well, if I have to double them up in the same turn, then that's losing a lot of power for me because it is hard to link them with other characters, and usually when I get both of them in the same turn, I can't even really get one super unless I get really lucky with how many key spheres are up there and what types there are. So using that cell is kind of a detriment to the team, but I threw him in there for now. He will kind of help against the stage 2 with the Goku by being type advantage. If you do get him to 140 and get him all the way maxed out, then you can get him a passive heal if your health gets below a certain threshold. So that is kind of the main benefit that will be there for him. Other than that, you would probably have to bring as many Android category characters as you can, because he does not link well at all with any of the Saiyans. Now, the Android 18 actually doesn't link as bad with the Saiyan characters, But again, if you can find better options, usually Saiyans link very well with other Saiyan characters. So those are usually good options to kind of think about and kind of mesh together. The free-to-play Vegeta and Gokus that become the combo characters, the Vegeta Trunks and the Goku Gohan, those ones, even though I've got them to 140, the Vegeta one especially was very underwhelming for me in this event. His damage just didn't seem to be there for me. His links were okay with the other characters. I was able to get supers for him very well. And again, I did use his leadership because that was the best option I have. But his damage overall, like you just saw in the background, was very underwhelming to me, especially when it's going to be compared with the Goku Gohan here. Even though I don't kind of transform them or switch them out as much in some of these stages, I just noticed that the Goku's overall damage was way higher. I was getting criticals a lot more. Even the critical damage that I was getting from the Vegeta in some of the stages wasn't really that impressive at all, even though Vegeta doesn't have any type disadvantages in any of these stages and the Goku does in stage 3. So that could be something to think about as well. And moving on to the next stage here, we are going to go over to stage 2 with the Goku. This is another one of those events like the last one that I just did yesterday where I actually might suggest playing these out of order based on what characters you have. Like I mentioned before, the Cell will probably do better in this stage than he would in the other ones, so I might bring him in this one and then kind of toss him out in the other ones. So if you bring that Cell, and then you have the one that you're forced to bring as the friend, and then you have the Yardrat Goku that's in the background here, then you have a lot of type advantage to work with, so the damage you're doing is up some, and the hits you are taking, it will decrease the damage. Especially since I don't have a ton of HP with this team, and if you're using the same team, you're going to have the same issue here. If you get supered once, it's going to be really bad, especially if you get supered by the wrong character. If you get supered twice, depending on what character that you have that gets supered, it might just be over in some of these stages. Now moving on though, and talking about one character that I didn't realize was as good as he was until I actually ended up getting to stage 3 later in the event, but we'll talk about that when I get there, was the Yardrat Goku. Now he is actually pretty impressive. I did know that he had the possible evasion and dodges, and I did know that he had the possible like counters. But what I did not know, or did not pay attention to, at least in the beginning, was that he has a medium chance to stun on his super. Now this came in very handy for me, and it was actually really impressive in this event, because using that Yardrat Goku, I actually didn't really see the evasion or the counters ever come into play in this, maybe once or twice in this event. I don't even know if we're going to see any in the background here in any of these stages from what I remembered, but from what I do remember is that stun was going off a lot. For being a medium chance, when I had to go back and replay, especially the Yardrat Goku levels, which I was struggling with at first, that Yardrat Goku was stunning every stage. So every time I played it, he was stunning, and then the enemy is stunned for 2 turns, which gave me enough time to build up the damage to either catch up to where he was on damage with my team, or either surpass him and get a comfortable lead, so I didn't really have to worry as much about getting hit hard or as much about strategy. I just had to worry about kind of hitting him as hard as I could, as fast as I could. So that Yardrat Goku, I would say, is probably the MVP of these stages, but I wouldn't recommend doing that stage first. This is the stage I would recommend doing first right here in the background that we are just finishing up, the Goku one. Then I would recommend just going back to stage 1, finish off that Vegeta, get these 2 characters maxed out, and then actually possibly skip over the Yardrat Goku for now, go to the Android 18 one, and then kind of work her in there, so you can go back to that Yardrat Goku one and have a little more firepower, since the Goku is going to have type disadvantage, but you are not going to have any type disadvantage characters in the Vegeta or Android 18 levels if you're using the same team I am. But moving on in the background, we are to stage 3 now. And the first one right here, I do believe I didn't have a lot of trouble with. So we'll see what I'm doing here in the background. I have the Vegeta, the Android 18, and the Cell. Of course, the Cell at the end is not going to get anywhere near a super. Just once again proving that those links don't really go well with him and the rest of the team. So if you can switch him out, that would probably be a good idea if you have better options. Because also, as you can see in the background, my health is getting very low, and this is only the normal stage. So those Cell characters, even though the friend one can give me a little bit of a heal, that heal is very situational. You have to be low HP, and you only get, I believe it's a 20% heal off of him. So if you get supered once, it wipes that out, as well as a very large chunk of the rest of your health. So I would recommend, if you have a bunch of Saiyans, do not put that Cell in. Switch him out, which is actually what I am going to do in this stage for 3-2, or the super stage for stage 3 for the Yardrat Goku, because that Cell was holding me back so much. I kept getting double Cells in the same turn, either turn 1 or turn 2, and I kept losing this stage. I think I lost 3 times, and then I was just like, you know what, this Cell needs to go. I'm going to switch in this Vegeta, and as you can see in the background, where that Vegeta is where the Cell would have been. So I would have gotten that Cell in this turn. I probably would have gotten a super with the 2 Saiyans, putting the Cell at the end, but the Cell probably would not have gotten a super, as well as the Cell would have been taking 2 hits from the enemy, which wouldn't have been good because he doesn't take hits very well either. So just switching him out helped this team mesh together a lot better and link better. And as you can see, even right there, the Cell in the beginning, no links from the characters. Like, even the Vegeta links with the Android 18 in some way. So it's just that the Cell just kind of doesn't fit in this event for me. I know it's an Android Cell category kind of thing. He might mesh better if you had the Android 16 in there that you can choose, which I believe I was using before, but I guess I can't use him now since he got that extra awakening. But in the background here, as you can see, I was able to clear this. It was a pretty comfortable clear with that, and on the subsequent clears of that, because like I mentioned, I was using the Yardrat Goku to get the stuns, and then just switching that one Vegeta in for the Cell made such a difference. It was so much easier to just get a lot of supers with characters and just get way ahead of the damage curve on that, so that I didn't really have to push or feel uncomfortable with where I was, like I'm gonna lose this 2 out of 3 times. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 instances where I got really low out of the other maybe 8 or 9 runs that I had to do on that for the normal and super stages. But other than that, it was a pretty easy clear, and that just kind of shows the difference that switching one character in can do. And in the background again, you will see that we have the Vegeta where the Cell would have been, so it would have given me another double Cell turn. And the weird thing about that is that Vegeta actually has a link with the Cell, and not with the Android 18, which isn't super surprising, but that Cell actually has a character it can link with. So that's interesting. So if you have that Vegeta and the Cell, then for the Goku stage, you actually might be able to swap that Vegeta in, keep the Cell in, have the friend Cell, and have the Yardrat Goku as well. So you've got a lot of type advantage there, even more than I was mentioning before, and then you can just bring that damage level down and hopefully buff your own. Because as you can see here, for me, it likes to throw that double Cell into turns, or the Vegeta where the Cell would have been. So we've already seen that a couple times, And these are just the first runs that I did through these stages. So if it's already doing that to me multiple times through the very first runs, then you can only imagine how many times it would have happened in all of the extra runs that I had to do to collect all the medals. Moving on here though, we are on the final stage for the Android 18, the super part. And we have our type advantage Vegeta attacking right now. And even though he has a level 10 super and he's worked on a little bit, his damage is still going to be very underwhelming. But that is fine because we mainly brought him in to link well with the rest of the team and then just take a couple hits because he has type advantage in stage 1 and stage 4. Android 18 in this turn, we kind of did the same thing. She's not super worked on. I think she has a little bit into her potential, nothing into her super. So she's just there because she worked better with the team than the Cell did for me overall. And we have the Yardrat Goku in the back right here. Let's see if he can... There it is. There is that stun that I was talking about earlier. I was getting that all the time in these stages, so it was a very nice thing to have. It kept me comfortable through these stages right now, so I felt like, yes, let's throw this Vegeta in here. Let's just kind of get the best links we can for the most damage because she's going to be stunned. So even though she has first attack, there we go, there goes the stun, and I can get off as much damage as possible with my characters in this turn. And that is going to finish it off for now. So as I was saying before, I would recommend doing these stages a little bit out of order just to go over it again. I would do stage 2, then 1, then 4, then 3 in that order. And that is going to be it for this video. We have one more left tomorrow on our way to that Vegeta. That is going to be all. Hope you enjoyed, and see you all back here tomorrow.